What's up, everybody? It's your boy Ailurus, aka Panda Daddy, and a lot of you guys wanted another episode of r/EntitledParents. I haven't done this in I think a year, but hey, a lot of you guys requested it, and I'm here to oblige. So typically when I do videos like this where I'm just reading stories, I don't necessarily add a lot of commentary. Videos like this are simply for the people who want to chill out with Panda Daddy, who are playing video games, who are eating, who are drawing, who are writing music, doing whatever. If you want something in the background to listen to, this is the video for you. So I hope you enjoy, and let's jump into these stories. Okay, so this happened about 5 years ago. My fiance and I have been together for 7 years this month. We're hoping to get married this year, but I might postpone due to circumstances. You see, we were reminiscing some old stories yesterday when this came up, and she suggested I'd share it. She was my girlfriend at the time, and at the time I was fully aware that her mom was a few fries short of a Happy Meal. But this was the pinnacle of her behavior, and if you guys enjoy this story, I actually have a few more that I'll share with you if you like. Sorry for the length, but I hope you guys enjoy it. So here's the people involved: my entitled mom, or future mother-in-law, my girlfriend Ellie, P.O., police officer, and O.P., me, obviously. Ellie and I weren't living together at the time. We just stayed over from time to time when she could. I took her home after she'd been staying with me for a couple of days and was heading to work. But shortly after, just before getting to work, I get a phone call from her, and I can tell she's in tears. Apparently, when she got inside, her mother immediately blew up on her for being gone for so long, even though it was only 2 days, and she told EM that she was going to be gone and kept in contact with her while she was gone. But Ellie just sort of brushed it off and went to her room. EM's house was pretty much your stereotypical crazy cat lady house badly decaying, cats all over the place, going to the bathroom in random places and whatnot. And when Ellie gets to her room, she realized that while she was gone, her cats used the bathroom all over her clean clothes. But whatever, Ellie decided to just bag them up and she would wash them the next time she came to my place. Her mom didn't have a functioning washer at the time. And apparently, she really set EM off. EM apparently thought Ellie was bagging her clothes because she was planning to go back to my place that night to stay another few days. So she stomped into her room, grabbed the bag, ripped it open, and flung the clothes all over the room along with cat excrement and urine, while screaming at Ellie that she's not going anywhere. That's when Ellie ran outside and called me. She was so upset and didn't know what to do. Her mom had been doing crazy stuff to Ellie ever since she's been with her, but up until I just helped her however I could while not getting involved and not saying a word to her mom. I told her to go ahead and get the things she needs and I'll take her to my place. She said she would love that. I told my work I was going to be late due to an emergency and turned around to go pick her up. When I pulled up at the house, Ellie was in the driveway crying. I went and hugged her and told her it was going to be okay and that she could stay with me as long as she wanted to. So she went back inside to get her things, and as I was standing outside waiting, I heard the door open again, and went to help Ellie with her things. Oh, it's her mom. EM comes stomping out of her house, hair crazy frizzled and messed up, with an old nightgown, and she belines me and gets right into my face. EM, with an extremely thick, high-pitched southern accent: "Excuse me, my daughter said I need to come out here and ask what you think of me." I knew that was a blatant lie, as Ellie would never instigate this. "You got something to say? You think I'm trash, don't you, huh? That's what you think, isn't it?" Again, up until now, I'd completely kept my mouth shut, and I was trying to maintain that. But this woman was in my face, freaking out and tormenting the woman I loved. So I finally looked at her and broke my silence. "Why do you treat her like this?" "What do you mean? That's my daughter, and I worship the ground she walks on." "Oh really? So calling her a slut or is worship?" "Yes, I've heard her say this with my own ears too." "I would never say anything like that." "BS, I've heard you say it." And then she loses her mind. "Get your ass off my property." Okay, I almost never find myself in situations like this, so I'm not used to it. I say that because after she said this, I pretty much saw red, and I'm not proud of it. But I just started shouting every curse word in the book I could possibly think of at the top of my lungs, while she went back into the house. But thankfully, that only lasted a few seconds and I immediately calmed down. So finally, Ellie comes back out with her stuff. We put it in the car and I assume it's over. But Ellie turns to me and says, "I'm sorry, but we can't leave yet." "Why not?" "My mom called the cops." I sort of had the feeling that would happen. No big deal. So we just sat there and waited for the cop to arrive. After about 10 minutes or so, a cop car pulls up. Right when he does, EM comes out the house and oh my god, yes, she was doing exactly what you think. She instantly puts on the fragile, brittle old lady act, hunched over, walking slowly the whole gig. And of course, when the police officer asks her what happened, she has to pitch her entire medical chart to the guy. Ellie will tell you that this woman has been terminally ill for 12 years. So when she finally gets done trying to milk this poor guy for sympathy, she tells her version of what happened. "Sir, he came onto my property and verbally attacked me. He's awful to me, sir. I've never seen or done anything to him. He turned my daughter against me and is trying to convince her to leave." At first, he seemed somewhat sympathetic to her, until he turns to Ellie. "Ma'am, is this your boyfriend?" "Yes, sir." "Okay, how old are you?" "Sir, I'm 23. This was my favorite part because the officer looked up from his notepad and said, "Wait, what?" Obviously, he was thinking Ellie was a minor or something based off how EM was acting, but quickly realized just what he was dealing with. Eventually, he turns to me. "Okay, sir, please give me your version of what happened." I did so. Funny side note, at one point the police officer looks up at me and says, "You look really familiar. Do I know you?" It actually turned out the police officer and I had gone to high school together, and once we recognized each other, we laughed and shook hands very briefly. This was hilarious because out of the corner of my eye, I saw EM with a big scowl on her face, and she sees me getting friendly with the police officer. But anyway, the police officer puts his notepad away and turns to me. "Just FYI, he says the following with a heavy tone of, 'I know that you're fully aware of this, and I don't believe you're in the wrong at all, but I have to say this as, a formality.'" "Absolutely, sir." "I'm sorry, but sir, I want to press charges." "He didn't do anything illegal, ma'am." "But he verbally abused me." "I understand that. And while that was ill-advised," he slightly turns to me and gives me a small gesture with his hand, and I nod in agreement, "it's not something I could arrest him for. He agrees he will not come back on your property without direct permission." "Ugh. Okay, whatever. Ellie, come back inside." "What? No. You heard the police officer. OP is leaving and you're staying here." "Whoa, ma'am, I didn't say that at all." But your daughter is not a child, ma'am. She's a grown adult. She has every right to go wherever she wants." "I'm her mother. She lives under my roof. I told her that she has to stay here, so she needs to stay." "No, ma'am, that's not how it works. If she wants to go with her boyfriend, there's absolutely nothing you can do to stop her." And of course, EM starts the fake crocodile tears and stomps in the house in defeat. Ellie and I thanked the officer, got in the car, and left. We've been living together ever since. Get this, there's a happy ending. Believe it or not, EM isn't really much of an EM anymore. Over the years that day, EM's actually decided to make an effort to try and improve herself. I guess she realized that if she didn't make any changes, she would lose her relationship with Ellie. So EM started taking advantage of her medical coverage and went to go see a psychologist and got medicine for her mental illness she actually had, as opposed to the ones that she would make up. Since then, well, she's actually gotten way better. She takes her medicine regularly and has a boyfriend that's extremely kind and treats Ellie as though she was his own daughter. So basically, EM isn't really an EM anymore. We actually get along very well, and we see them frequently. We help each other out whenever we can, and we actually look back on the early years when she was in fact an EM and laugh. So not only is everybody getting along well, we can actually share the cringe stories and happily laugh about them. This next story is from Pot College 21. I decided I wanted to order myself a personal massager on Amazon. So yeah, I got myself a little nice, literally just a piece of silicone shaped like a whoa! That's it. It arrived at my house and it took it to my room, and my mom and sister were begging to know what was inside. I told them that this is private. It's something only for me. My mom goes, "Well, if it's something you're not supposed to have," she probably would have considered it to be something too adult for me, unfortunately. Told her she's just gonna have to trust me on that I wouldn't be that stupid to have something illegal shipped directly to my house. "But you don't get to have any privacy from your mother." Very small, stupid phrase, but it kind of scared me. At what age do I become my own person? They still don't know I have it, as I finally let it go. But it put me on edge. She wonders why I don't have full trust in her. I feel it's also worth mentioning that she finally sat me down to have the talk about a month before I left for college. Had to break it to her that I, in fact, had already been sexually active, which she took as a personal insult. Not quite sure why she's so obsessed with my body, especially my private parts. This next story is from MFR1 1988. Quick backstory, my mom didn't raise me, her parents did. She had always chosen guys partying over me and my siblings. This is why CPS has taken all 3 of her kids away. And once I became an adult, I joined the military, so she would hit me up every couple of months asking me to give her different sums of money. Don't get me wrong, she works, but it's a BS job. Eventually I asked her why she didn't get a real job, and her response was, "Because I would be miserable doing that. Here, I got to talk shit to people and have fun. That's all good if you can pay your bills, but she can't." She's done the same thing to my sister, who was also in the military. Anyway, I talk to her roughly 3 or 4 times a year. Last week, she's been asking me when I finish school and where will I be moving to. I told her I don't know, and her response was, well, whenever you go, I need a mother-in-law suite to stay at. My response was, no, I don't, and after that I got bombarded with how my generation doesn't know anything about respect and how I wasn't raised properly. Mind you, I was raised by the same people as her. Also, my dad wanted an abortion, and if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be here. After all of that, I said thanks, but I'm still never going to have an in-law suite for you. Well, enjoy your life is the last thing she said before hanging up. I'm sure in a couple months, she'll be asking for something again. This next story is from user RTTR123. Background: I'm a 21-year-old on a high amount of meds for epilepsy, and I dropped out of college to deal with my medical issues since I used to have a seizure once a week. I'm currently going to a community college to transfer into a better university in a different major, so I'll graduate 2 years later than all my classmates. So I was talking to my psychiatrist on a video chat, since I didn't go to the hospital. Since this is his first appointment, he was asking some basic questions, like do you hear voices, or have you had thoughts of self-harm type things, I answer honestly. I mentioned my mother and family issues, like how my mother and father have been fighting since I was born, and blame me for deteriorating the relationship. Me. Oh, my mom tends to insult me a lot, calling me a failure and a retard because I go to community college right now. I also have anger issues, and after she screams and calls me swear words and phrases over 40 times a minute, I counted, I wasn't lying. For more than a minute, I helped her for 2 hours. Then she slapped me twice for stepping on something, I forgot what. So I got enraged, and I pinched her forehead, tried to lightly slap her cheek, and stormed off. Immediately I realized what I said, and I started to panic. Wait, please, don't tell the police or anyone what I've done. Psychiatrist: it seems like we need to talk again. Don't worry though, we want to help you. We won't tell anyone what you or your mother has done. I mentioned what I said to my mom, one thing over a 2-hour session, and it was a huge mistake. My mom didn't care about my suicidal attempts, my depression, or how I felt. How could you tell them something like that, you narcissist? What's wrong with you? But I sent you what I said exactly. You're a liar. Nothing you say is true. You're the last person I would trust. Mom, I'm sorry. I didn't lie. I'll tell you what I did and what you did. No matter what, that's what they said. I don't care that you call me mom, you dumb retard. You're lucky to be living with me at 22. I'm 21. All of your classmates and friends are graduating 2 years before you. I'm sorry. I won't mention you again. My mom continued to rant and rave. You never stopped talking or starting arguments. You could have gotten me arrested. Well, I'll get you arrested, you piece of shit. I wish I had an abortion. I was speechless. Now make sure I'm in your next appointment, or I won't let you see your psychiatrist. But shut up and only talk to them about your anger issues. You useless retard failure. God. How can you still be talking about your family at 22? I mean, it's not like Your brother is 30 and doesn't complain or argue with me. I really didn't know what to say after that. I know that's not true. If my mom insults him when he visits, he will leave the house and go to his apartment immediately. Then, depending on how she acted, come back later. Also, my mom is comparing me to my brother who is 9 years older with no medical issues, but he lived at home until he was 26 and got his first CS job. My mom continues to insult me for another hour, and then she gets quiet. And that's how the story ends. OP didn't go into detail about anything else. You check the comments and he didn't elaborate on anything else. That was just the day. Simply that his mom went out of her way to threaten him to make sure that he wouldn't speak on all the abuse that she's been doing to him. She's probably the worst entitled mom I've ever come across, but it's a typical story amongst these entitled parent types. They really want to be in the room with their child so they can make sure their kid doesn't say anything, bad about them. Because God forbid the psychiatrist find out that the child is depressed, anxious, or anything else is the result of abuse at home. What's up, everybody? It's your boy Ailurus, aka Panda Daddy, and I hope you enjoyed today's video. If it was a nice chill session, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you got a lot done on whatever you were working on. I hope the food that you were eating was tasty. I hope the game that you're playing, I hope that you were MVP in that game or whatever you're doing. I don't know. I wish you good things. Instead of my typical outro, I really want to take time to thank all the people who went out of their way to support me on Patreon. A lot of you guys, 40 of you guys, have went out of your way and really helped me during this very difficult situation, and I can't thank you guys enough. It's really nice knowing that I have that as a fallback when horrible stuff like this occurs, and I'm extremely appreciative because you guys didn't have to do that. And as a result, just because of you guys helping me out on Patreon, you're making it really, really easy for me to create more and more, entertaining content for you guys. As long as I have that support, I can just keep doing this and making sure that everybody has a happy day, or that everybody can have something to laugh at. And I am so grateful that you're helping not only me be able to make content, but you're also helping to support the channel and make sure that it's available to everybody and that it's sustainable so that everyone who enjoys my content can watch it. I also want to mention that I have a Twitter at Ailurus. Go ahead and follow that. I've made a couple posts mostly about the situation that I'm in right now, but I'm also going to be using that to, share, video uploads and stupid memes. Essentially it's going to be my Instagram account, but on Twitter. So yes, if you didn't know I had an Instagram account, I also do that too. I'm gonna throw both of that at DatPandaFam. So yes, follow both. And if you're really trying to be like extra today, like at the following and seeing me on all of my social media gatherings, you can go ahead and check out the Discord too. So yes, if you want to be an awesome person, go ahead and follow the Twitter, then the Instagram, and then go ahead and go onto the Discord. Do all three of those and you win bragging points. But in all seriousness, I sincerely thank all of those who have went out of their way to really support me during this hard time. It's insanely helpful. And those very people who have helped me out during this difficult situation are Taki, Bunny Boo, Dustin, Canned Eggplant, Kyle, Hosmar, Keith Myers, Hannah, PixieArt5, Elron Green, Catherine Taylor, Jason, Arolina, Rajin, Clara, John Robinson, Ethan, Vermont, Noob SLYR, Trenton Golden, Trojan, Yeetmeister, and Arjen. Thank you so much for your support. It's greatly appreciated. And as always, stay zesty.